So this is a small progress update on the bar magnet expansion project, specifically the largest set that I am designing for this project. It's called the Flagship. Literally called that. Yeah, maybe the name's a little bit on the nose, but since this is sort of a project that I'm working on that is thematically tied to like pirates and airships and steampunk and stuff, it just makes sense that the Flagship set for the wave is literally called that, right? Sure, it'll probably have something else tacked onto its name because it's going to belong to a village at some point, but suffice to say, I'm really excited to progress. So let me go ahead and show you the physical model first, and then I'll go ahead and show you what it's going to look like in studio. Without further ado, I'm super happy with this. This is what I've come up with so far. Now, this is just, don't get me wrong, it's small-ish. It's, you know, some wonky colors in here just because of what's available right now, but it functions. It does what it needs to do, and this is just one half of the assembly for this because there's one of these on each side of the ship. If that tells you how large this is going to be, please help me. Send help. So, first off, there's a gear on the back here that will actually spin up the propellers on the back. It's a coaxial system. It's actually fairly simple to understand, though I don't know how well it's going to come across on camera. But there's a gear right inside of here, and that's just tied through a universal joint to this gear. Nothing fancy going on there, but that gear is turning this red 28 tooth gear. The reason I'm using a red one is strictly because I just don't have the other type. But normally this would have an axle hole in the middle. Mine doesn't, so I'm using a connection that I found a while ago. This allows you to actually attach a clutch, essentially. The 20-tooth gear in here gives this an axle connection, but it acts as a clutch. I've made a video on it. I'll throw that video at the end of this one as well, and maybe I'll also throw something about the bar magnet expansion project, so you can catch up if you're not familiar. Suffice to say, the motion through that red gear is translated up to this top propeller, while the motion through the red gear is also paired through this gear into the turntable at the bottom, and that one is locked to the bottom propeller. Because this gear is going to turn these two in opposite directions, the propellers turn in opposite directions. It's as simple as that. Essentially, the top propeller is locked onto the axle, the bottom propeller is not. That's all. It's simple, it's elegant, but it works, and I'm so happy with it. But as cool as it looks in hand like this, you should see it over on Studio. So let me go ahead and take you over there first, and then I'll show you sort of my inspiration for this as well. This is what it looks like. Again, it might be a little bit too large, and I haven't decided if I want to orient them this direction, where they're sort of facing downward and out away from the vehicle, or if I want to flip it like literally 90 degrees and have them actually taper upward. I'll figure that out as time goes on. But the actual assemblies here look so good. Obviously, some of these pieces don't exist in these colors. The Skrull armor piece, for example, in just reddish brown standard, not tan, although I would be perfectly fine, honestly, with these pieces being in tan, too. Like, I think that could still look really cool. I just don't have tan paired anywhere else on the vehicle yet. Interestingly, I have already found some of these in brown on a knockoff set. However, I've only seen 2 of them, and it's a reasonably expensive set. This so far requires 6, 3 per wing, so there's a decent amount here. With that said, though, it just looks so good. Honestly, I wish this came in gold too, because like, oh, that would look so nice, but it doesn't, and that's okay too. Still, though, this just looks so fun and unique and exciting to me. There are obviously other color choices that I could make. Let me, for example, just change all of the brown pieces to black just to see what it looks like. That looks good, you know, which I wasn't expecting. I'm going to change all of these gold pieces here too, also to silver, just to see what they look like. I guess I could have just selected everything. Yeah, like look at how cool that looks. It still looks so good. And interestingly enough, because I'm using that red gear in here, I did this little fun thing where I wrapped the essentially a red line. I don't even know how to describe it, but you can see that this red here shows from the top. It shows from the top here. It shows from the top, and it's all in line with each other, you know? So just fills it out more. I don't know. It's so cool. I love it. I love it so much. I'm sorry. I'm very excited about this. So yeah, I do first of all absolutely want to know your thoughts on this model and on this project as a whole. because I'm just having too much fun with it, to be honest. Like, look at that. You could literally have a red line go all the way across the entire model. It's so good. Okay, sorry, I'm tooting my own horn here for sure, but I'm just excited. So inspiration. Originally, I was thinking this is just basically going to be a flying pirate ship. However, I want to look at this in the way that I've looked at the rest of the Bar Magna expansion project, in the sense that this is a world that basically has existed for who knows how long. Bar Magna, right? Essentially without water, at least for the majority of places there. So it's likely there aren't really oceans, so there aren't going to be pirate ships as we know them, but there might be like sand pirate ships, or again, air pirate ships. So how would those look aesthetically? Because you can't just take a pirate ship out of the water and fly it in the sky. It's not really aerodynamic in that way. What I did end up finding was actually something over on AliExpress, and I really like the aesthetic of this specifically because I already had the idea of having these sort of pontoons on the side, and this just kind of works. Now, the pontoons that I wanted had a bit of a function in it. I'll talk about that probably in its own separate video because I'm not there yet, and I don't know if it's a thing worth preserving. But this is just like a wooden model you build. I have no idea. And I found this when I was looking for something completely different for Bionicle stuff, for bootleg stuff. And interestingly, while I found this, ooh, I need to breathe. I'm getting excited. I'm sorry. Interestingly, while I found this is also what I was looking at when I found the brown wing pieces too. So I want to get my hands on those pieces. I might go ahead and buy that set, but like nothing else in that set is really that exciting. It has like these blimp pieces in it, which are cool, but I think it's just like a wrap and stuff. And I mean, that's neat. A blimp is also something I've been considering doing, but again, I'm getting ahead of myself. So that's the build as it stands so far. If you can't tell already, I want it to come together so bad. And my thoughts for functions right now, outside of the propellers moving in the back, is that I can do side fins that sort of undulate, right? Very similar to like the water dragon from Ninjago, for example. Better than that, I would assume, but you get the idea, right? But another function that I had, because each of these ships and many of the characters will come with like capes and cloth pieces, is to have an actual mast on it with a sail, right? And so I thought that the easiest way to have a sail that unfolds and folds back up rather than a square sail is a semicircular sail, because you can have them join in the center and literally just pivot like this, and that would literally fold the sail itself up, the fabric itself up like an accordion kind of. This is a pretty popular trope, I think, for a lot of like flying airships, and also being semicircular means I can use it not only on the airship, but I could also use the same exact template on the Calteric, the Spinosaur, because that spine shape is also semicircular. So it kind of gives me two uses out of one design. And that's also something I'm trying to do. So it ends up working out really well, basically on all sides. But still, it's something to just... it's exciting. I'm really excited. Anyway, so hopefully you guys are enjoying this one too. I've got the ornithopter back there. You can see it already, so it's sitting there waiting for its much bigger brother. And the Sandstorm, which is the little motorcycle I made, is down in one of these drawers down here, and that's pretty much ready to go too, but I want to add steering on it. So okay, hopefully you guys are filled in a bit more on the Bar Magna expansion project. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because it does really help the channel out. And of course, you can always, join in on the conversation below. If you have any resources too, specifically for like inspiration stuff, I've got a whole folder full of it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and what would inspire you if you were building a Bionicle set, whether it's a Glatorian, an Agori, a vehicle, a Rahi, a Titan, or whatever. What would you draw inspiration from? Whether it's another Bionicle or knockoff creation, or maybe just other fandoms entirely. As I've stated in previous videos, the Bar Magna expansion project is taking a lot of inspiration from sort of steampunk sky pirate vibe, and so that's sort of the direction I'm leaning towards, at least for a majority of the vehicles, right? So anyway, that's everything I wanted to say. You can also check out the Discord, Instagram, and Patreon for more stuff and to follow a process like this. That's all in the description below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.